Okay, I am so excited to be with you here today. I cannot wait to get to talk about what we're doing. Okay, so we have this awesome opportunity to study and to research and to everything. But what we're doing is we are asking ourselves the questions, right? What if? Okay, so what if the person choosing picks two? If you're at the restaurant and you're trying to decide what you want for dinner, and it's like, oh, hey, I wonder, I kind of want a hamburger, but I also want spaghetti. You can order both and just eat some of each and then save it for tomorrow, right? But there is no saving a face paint for tomorrow. So what happens when the kid getting their face painted can't decide between a superhero and an animal? Well, of course, we paint a super animal, right? We are not new to this idea of painting two things, but sometimes the two things come from different directions. So maybe there's a holiday going on, but they don't want a holiday thing. Or maybe mom wants one thing and the kid wants something else. Or there's just this, we have two. So what I want to talk about today is I want to answer that question. Well, what if they do pick two? What if we have two different things that we're trying to meld into one? One of my favorite things to do is when you have two best friends or boyfriend, girlfriend, and they both pick something different, to fuse them together and to do two different versions of a double thing so that the paintings go together. It is so fun to mix things together. So I want to spend some time mixing and matching a little bit today. Real fast though, I had an announcement, you guys. I don't know if you saw or not, but I put together my course catalog. So I have been teaching a weekly class now for almost a year. We're getting close to that year mark. Celebrate. But that means that there are 43 classes that are available. And so if you go to Buy Me a Coffee, you can check out the course catalog that we have, over 85 hours of learning, which is awesome. And it's all very much this pace and this fun. So if you're interested in supporting the What If Project, you can do a one-time donation there, or you can become a Fairy Fox fan, or you can jump up to the membership level as a Fairy Fox friend. And what it means to be a friend is we actually paint together. So in this live class, it's a Zoom class that we do every week. And you're there and you can show me what you're doing and be like, okay, but what about this? And it's a blast. So if you have any questions, of course, ask them, but let's get started on painting two things at once, which is awesome. So of course I have to share my camera. Let's do that. Thank you for listening to my little marketing moment. I know it's so hard to know, like, how do I let everybody know what we're doing? But okay. So here's the face. Now, often when we fuse something together, maybe we're doing a little animal with a baseball cap that is a Yankees fan. Yes, I'm a Yankees fan. Okay. Not, well, another story, another time. Okay, but a lot of that, we're trapped in this on the cheek zone. And that can be kind of sad to just be in one spot trying to do it all. So what is it that we are going to be doing so that we don't feel that trappedness, that we can have this awesome way of going everywhere? Okay, so instead of putting them together, I'm going to show you this new thing. All right, I love it. So right here on the face, we have a big, nice flat area. And right here on the face, we have this big, nice flat area. Now, often we either do a crown or we do a cheek design, but some of my favorites are when we mesh and we use the C of the eye. So we see this eye shape, which is great, but I want to show you a way that we can put them together. So here's a design that I developed that I absolutely love, and let me show you what makes it so special. We're going to zoom out a little bit. But you can see we've taken two things that have nothing to do with each other, right? We have a saxophone here, and then we have an orca up here. Now, being able to paint an orca is like on my wish list, that somebody can say, I want a whale, and boom, I can do it. So here I did it, but it took me a little while, and I want to be able to, boom, do it. So that's where this came from. But let me show you how to put this together. So we have the cheek zone that is providing one thing. Then we have the forehead that is providing something else. And you can see that whale is on the forehead and that saxophone is on the cheek. And then we had to find a way to connect them together. So here, this is kind of like the music coming out. We could have even added a couple little music notes. So we have the music flowing out. And then up here, of course, we have a splash of water flowing up. Now, why this is so effective and exciting is if you have a person, they are complicated. A person is not as simple as being like, oh, I love cherries. Oh, I love, but as you find passions and you put a couple different passions together, then we get a complicated painting, and it's going to match the complications of the human spirit. And so it's going to be like, oh my gosh, this was so you, because maybe, orcas are their favorite animal and they're in a jazz band and they love swimming, and we put it all together and it's become something very unique, which is awesome. And then also very specific to them, which is also awesome. So that is our goal. We are going to have 1, 2, and then a bridge to connect them together. Now, those bridges can be full of all kinds of different things. And so we're going to see how we can go about doing that today. Now, you can choose which one you want to start with. And then it's also kind of nice to do your bridge in between the detail work. So just like we always paint in layers, you do your first layer of color and then your black and then your white. That's what we're going to do today. So the first thing I'm going to do is a horse, because this little girl, of course, loves horses, and it's going to be more of an actual horse, a little bit less of a pony. And let me show you how we're going to get there. So we can use whatever color we want, but we're going to have some fun with this. So I'm going to use, let's use like a teal. That'll be really fun. So I'm going to use a darker color for my first load, and we're looking for this horse to create a space on top of her eye. Now, anytime you're painting around the eyes like we're about to do, you if you have the time, you want to put some color in there. And the reason for that is because it just makes everything more exciting. And it's simple. So we're going to come right here and we're going to put in a nice little pop of color. Okay, very nice. There we go. And by doing that, we don't have to worry about messing up our work later. So we're going to get this teal and we're going to do a triangle. Now, remember how much art loves to move. So instead of just a boring triangle that's like a cat ear right here, we're going to give it some motion and some sweeping power. So we're going to swoop down here, and then we're going to swoop around here. And you're going to be like, that is not horse. Trust me, it will be. Okay, so then we'll connect it and we'll color this in. Now I used a little bit of a darker teal. I'm gonna hop over and use a lighter one here in just a second, but we're just getting this on there. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, this is actually the neck of the horse. So I'm using a little bit of a lighter teal to just kind of bring it forward a little bit, and we're gonna paint the head of the horse. Now the neck is kind of a triangle. The head is actually like a pear shape. So a pear or a peanut, we're going to go ahead and just put our first circle right there and our second circle right here. Awesome. Now we're going to bring the neck down just like that and connect it to this body. And you can see we've got this kind of horse shape going on. And we want one ear on this side of the head, one ear on this side of the head. And I know I'm up in the hair. When you're painting on paper, you can do that. When you're painting on skin, you can't. So you just have to adjust to the size that you're doing for that. Okay, now the longer the face, the older the horse is going to be. So you can see I've narrowed it out and I've brought that chin down just a little bit so that I get more horse and less pony. And that's what I'm looking to do. Now we're going to put on some hair for this horse. And again, hair is going to bring movement. This is looking a lot like the Frozen horse. If we did white and blue hair, it would continue, but I want this to be not the Frozen horse. So we're going to use purple. Okay, now for that movement, anywhere the hair goes, that is the way the wind is blowing or the horse is moving. So we can have so much fun with that. Hair grows out, so you want to make sure that the hair goes above the neckline. And then we can just bring some of these wisps around, making sure that we're flipping our brush every now and then. And then we can even bring some hair down there. Okay, so this is beautiful. I'm loving that. We're finished up there. Of course, we could spend time shading and all of that jazz, but we want to make sure that everything's working out just the way we want it to. So next we're going to come down here. This is the second thing that she loves. So this little girl, one of my favorite things to paint is the actual person getting painted. I think it's so fun to have a picture on a picture. Or a person on a person, I guess. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to just put her little head right here. There we go. And then I look at what they're wearing, and you can see she's in a cute little pastel purple shirt. And that really helps to capture the person easily, is if you just use whatever they're wearing. So I'm going to show you, this does not have to be hard. Painting people is really intimidating, but I'm going to just show you how easy it can be. So this looks just like a little, one of those Duplo Lego people, and that's totally fine. So we'll say she's wearing jeans. So I'm loading up some blue, and we're just going to grab 2 giant teardrops either side. So she is now sitting Indian style, and it just comes right into the middle and kind of disappears right there. Now I want her to be reading a book. So we're going to get some brown for the binding of that book, and we will just trace her legs. There's the book. Now, of course, books are full of pages. I'm going to put this in with this brush because I'm loading my base, but as we do white, we will probably add more. So of course, movement is exciting. So we'll add a little bit of a wiggle to our pages as we put those in here. All right, so now we've got some pages in our book, and you can see it's looking really good. Now, if she is reading this book, then her head, her chin will be tilted down. So let me show you how we do that. So we're going to put a little hand on each knee. So we've got that. And then right here, this is just the body. And so we need some arms. And I don't want the shirt to be boring. So we're going to actually add the arms in a different color. And so we add that. Perfect. Give it a little bit more of a shoulder there. And then I'm going to just go ahead and add a flower. Yes, I am doing a double loaded petal with a 1 stroke. That is super fast. It's not as good as a double loaded petal, but here you can see I don't need it to be as good. I just needed it to be something. So we got that. Now for her hair, she's got this gorgeous curly hair. We want to make sure that we capture and that we maintain that gorgeous curl. So I've got a nice brown, a dark brown on my brush. And because she's looking down, I can just put most of her face covered up with this hair. And you can see we're just blopping along, and that's giving us her awesome curls. So blop along, blop, 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 blop. Okay, then this is cool. Dip your brush in the water and then go load some black on top. You can go back into the brown a little if you get too much black or whatever, but then just come back and we're just gonna blop right on top. Blop, blop, blop. I know this is a very technical word, but you can see that just gives us a little bit more texture and definition in her hair. Now her head is floating just a little bit. So we're going to grab that skin tone that we used and we can just come in and we can fill that in. And you can even give her a little bit of a neck scoop down onto her shirt. And she is now reading this book. Okay, so you can see we're right here. We need a bridge. She's reading a book. There's this cool horse, there's the sunset eye, but they have nothing to do with each other, right? So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take a 1 stroke. You can choose whatever color you want. And you saw water in the last picture. You can also do fire. You can also do all kinds of things, but this is reading and imagination. So that's kind of what we're gonna capture. Now we don't have this color anywhere else. The horse's color and her color are kind of the same. So when I thought about what I wanted to draw, this is like my spirit animal feelings coming out. I love horses. I don't know if you knew that. You can probably tell from my insane amount of unicorns I'm always posting. But so I'm just grabbing a beautiful 1 stroke color that is going to match the eye color. And what we're going to do is we are going to make this connect to here. But if we just do a simple stroke, it won't be as exciting as if we create a little bit of magic. So we're going to come right here and we're going to scoop into the eye. And then we're going to come out of the eye, and we can choose if we want to scoop this way or if we want to scoop around. And I'm kind of feeling the around. So thin to thick to thin, and right into that book page. So thin to thick to thin, right under that book. I don't want to cover her up. So where I go over her, I want it to be super skinny. And then we can have just a little bit of magic that kind of flows around to fill in any of the space. So now you can see we have one picture. We had two, and now we have one. So what do we have to do now? We just have to finish it all up, make it all amazing. So you can decide how much you want to make the perfect details. This already is telling the story. But of course, we want to add at least a little bit of fun and excitement, right? So let's go ahead and get our white and put in the white base layer. So we're not trying to do any detail work right now of like the finishing touches. No finishing touches. This is just white base. So I can see we need some eyes on our horse. So we're going to bring them right here, and we angle them down just a little so that we capture this shape of the horse's face. Okay, so we've got some nice eyes. The smaller you make them, the older the horse is going to be. And again, we want this to say horse, not pony. So we've got those. And then I think that's really all. Oh, I love to have her wearing socks. So I'm going to put one little foot right here. Oh, and you can't see that. Sorry. Okay, one little foot right there, and then one little foot right here tucked under. Okay, so now she's got some feet. I'm going to add the highlights on her too as well right here. So we'll just do a nice little shoulder highlight, a little cheek highlight, and let's put in the pages. And we'll put in some pages over on this side. One more page. Okay. And then we can do a leg highlight. And you can see these little highlights, they just make it pop a little bit. We can put in some hair highlights if we want. And then I want to show you a little bit what we can do here. We can put a star, little patch on the horses. Because we don't have a unicorn horn, we can put that little patch. And then if you touch it and pull it up, it will blend it back in. So it won't be as bright white as the eyes. Okay, so we are looking good. And we're just going to pull that down and around, kind of give us a little bit to go on here. Okay, great. Now we're going to hop to black. So I like to work top down because that helps me not smear the work I've already done. So this is a chance we have to decide how much black and where to put it. What I like to do is I like to have my black outlining on both of the pieces, but not in the connection. And that helps it create the this is matters and this matters, but the in-between part doesn't. So we're going to come right here, and we're going to just pull one ear here and a second ear here. And we're going to pull in the face and get a nice kind of square jaw down there. And then just a couple little teardrops, give us the middle of that. And then pull in the eye. And this is just a little teardrop coming in. And then once we're here, I like to pull just a little bit of a bridge of the nose. And then we can do two circles, a big circle and a small circle. And then you just fill in the in-between, and that gives you, look at that beautiful horse. Oh, I love her. And we can put in the eyebrows. Now you can see I'm keeping this really simple, and I'm doing that on purpose. That's what I want it to be like. Now this neck is just as thick as the head, and that is too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to scoop it in just a little bit there. And let me just tell you, the outlining wins. So all of this green is going to go away as we make the hair fancy. So if ever you have too much of something, don't worry about it. It will disappear. Now I am going to do my outlining more on the hair in the white instead of doing it in black. But if you like the black, you can do that too. Okay. And I'm going to just add one little wiggle right there. Okay, so now we come down to her, and I want to keep her super simple because I love it so much. So we're going to just do that much. I'm going to leave her face blank. If you wanted, you could do little loops or a little nose and stuff, but I want this. Well, actually, okay, we'll keep it so simple. There we go. Look, it's so cute. And if you want the little bit of an eye, you can definitely put that in. Okay, so I tell you I'm going to leave it, and then I never do. This is so how I go, you guys. Okay, but I want you to see options. So you can see we can have a cute little face. If you want to make her happy, you can add a little smile. I'll probably go back in and take her face back off, though, because I really liked it without one. And that is totally fine. I cannot stress enough how these are your choices. You get to choose everything about your art. You don't have to do it just the way some other artist did it, or just the way it is in the picture, or just the way. This is all about you and your art. So let it be that way. Own the artistness. Okay, so there she is. And to show you how to do a face lift. Just kidding. Okay, I'm just going to grab the same paint that was the original face, and the black might grade out a little, and that's totally fine because that's a normal face tone as well. But you can see I can just come in here and I can just say, never mind. I want her to have this cute little empty face because I think it's cute. Okay, so then you guys, I'm so excited. Now we get to do the detail work. So try not to go crazy with this, except I will, because I go crazy. That's just what I do. And we are going to put some little details there. I want to put one more thick white there on the book. Okay, so now we have to remember to do our human check. This is a person that we're painting on. And so we want to come right here and we want to give the eyeliner the lightest or the darkest color. So we'll put the eyeliner in white there, and then we'll come up to our pony. And I am just painting a couple wisps of the horse's hair. So going in whatever direction the one stroke told me to, you can go back and forth. You can see, oh my goodness, this is so beautiful and I'm loving it. Just make sure that the white goes on top of that green, and that's what's going to make the green go away. So I have this flowing down and making it beautiful feeling going on here. And that's just going to make this little horse sing. I love it. Okay, so there we have our horse. Then here, something is happening in the book. So we need to make sure that that gets noticed. So we have this point of origin magic coming out, and nothing says magic like little dots and stars. So get your little dots and stars out and have them go to town as they come along here. So magic's coming up, and then the magic also needs to kind of exist up here when it gets to its destination. So we have our little dots and stars here. We can come in here and add a few little dots, and in here little dots. Okay, so now we have ending, beginning, and we just need to connect the two with the line work on top of the rainbow. And this is one of my very favorite things to do. Of course, you guys know that. So I just want to make sure anywhere I have a harsh transition, so green to yellow, I'm just going to mask that with line work. So there's a beautiful pulled teardrop. You can do teardrops, you can do swirls. We want to make sure that they don't get mixed up in the hairline work. And so you can see the hair I kept very thin and kind of wispy, and here it's a little bit on the thicker side. Another way to separate them even more is just to use different colors. If I'd done a dark purple for her hair, or had even just multiple colors, that could work. But I love the way that white and white look, so I'm doing it that way. So we're bringing in some little teardrops there. We can bring in some more teardrops here. And this just is your land to play. I love doing double loops. So anywhere you have a loop, you just put them in twice, and they look so pretty. It is just so fun. So play. I know I keep saying, oh, do this, do this, do this, but you also want to make sure you're doing you. What are the lines that you can't live without? What are the shapes that just make you sing inside? And make sure that they're making it into your artwork. Okay, so now we're coming down into here and we need to find a way to blend this with this. And you can see that the one stroke is already doing it for us. So we can just bring out this beautiful shape and then we just connect. Those two curls right there are just like kissing each other, and that's perfect. We can do a little mini one right there. And then by bringing one of our stars over to this side and up in, that's going to give us all of the connection we need. And you can see we've got so much going on now that it is just perfect. And we can bring in a swirl up there as well. Okay, now the only place that I see that I'm not thrilled with is this transition right here. And so we don't want to go straight up and down. This is pretty straight and I don't like that. So we're just going to come here and we're just going to bring in that beautiful teardrop. Do you see how that just pulls it all together, and then a swirl right there? And that's just going to say, look at this. This is just blooming. Her eye is there. The pony's eye is there. It's a magical land. And the fact that we don't have her face gives the story this feeling that her mind is in the book. Her mind is in this imagination. And oh my gosh, I'm going to zoom out so you can see this whole girl. It's just so beautiful. She's so beautiful. We're having this wonderful time together and we just love it. So spend the time to do your final checks. Make sure you have that little bit of love there. And the end. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love this. Okay, I now have to hop off and go do some of the real life boring stuff. But love you guys, love painting with you. Hooray for day 4 in our 100-day project of answering the question, what if? Again, if you're feeling the love for this and you want to help me keep this project going, feel free to show your financial support over on Buy Me a Coffee. I'll make sure you guys always have the link. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments. I love it when you guys share your thoughts, and we will paint again together soon. Bye, guys.